Hey there, fourth grade. This is Mr. Campbell. Today we're going to be working on page 353. This is lesson 9.6, add and subtract fractions with like denominators. So we've worked on adding fractions together. We've worked on subtracting them. Today we're going to have to kind of look at them and figure out what we need to do on each part of them. So when I come down here real quick, we've been reviewing this every single day. If I have a fraction like 3/4, right? Which part is my numerator? Is the 3 the numerator or is 4 the numerator? Our numerator is on top, so numerator. All right, that's up on top. Denominator is down below. Denominator. All right, and that's how many it takes to make a whole. So for example, with this, if I had a pizza, I cut it into 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, that would make a whole pizza. If I ate 1, 2, 3 of those, this would be 3 out of the 4. 3/4 would be what I've got there. So this is what we're going to be working on today as we are adding and subtracting fractions. Let's go ahead and turn over to page 354 as we take a look at today's lesson. It says, Mary rides her bike 0.2 of a mile to pick up her friend Marcy for soccer practice. Together, they ride 0.5 of a mile to the soccer field. What is the distance from Mary's house to the soccer field? And it says you can use jumps on a number line to add or subtract fractions. So they started here at Mary's house. They went to Marcy's house, which was 0.2 of a mile. And then they went 0.5 of a mile all the way over here. So we have our two different fractions here. What do we want to do if we're trying to figure out the total distance all the way over here? Well, we're going to add, and so that's what they've got down here. So let's go ahead. I'm going to zoom us into box B here, and it says use a number line to show 0.2 plus 0.5. Draw a line for tenths, locate 0.2 on the number line, and then to add, move 0.5 to the right. So what they're saying is we've got 0 here and 1 here. They broke it into 10 equal parts going all the way across, which is our tenths. So we started off going 0.2 of a mile, which is why we got there. And then we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 0.5 more. And now we want to say, well, how many is that, right? And we talked about this when we were doing our addition before, because I could just count the tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So we could say, well, 0.2, because that's where we started, plus 0.5 is equal to 0.7. And we know that because we just skip counted all the way over. All right. So the other part is for us just to use the numbers here. And it says write the addition equation. Add the numerators, write the sum over the like denominator. So here's our equation. Remember, equation just means we're adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. In this case, we're adding, right? So 0.2 plus 0.5 is our equation. And just like I showed you before, what that actually looks like is 2 plus 5 in our numerator, and our denominator stays the same. And then we add that up. Well, that's 0.7. So the distance from Mary's house to the soccer field is 0.7 of a mile. So we're going to talk about subtraction next. So we're here. Turn with me to page 355, and we're going to look at our subtraction problem. Now for this one, we've got 6/8 minus 4/8. So what did they do with their number line here? They started at 0. It goes up to 1. So they cut it into our denominator, which is 8. They cut it into 8 equal parts. Then where are we starting? Well, we're starting at 6/8. So they went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6/8 and started there. Well, when we're talking about subtracting, we're going to move to the left on our number line because it's going to get smaller. So they went 1, 2, 3, 4/8 backwards, and here's where they ended up. Well, our job is to figure out where is that. Well, we know our denominator is 8 because it takes 8 pieces to get all the way over here to number 1. And so if we start at 0, we see 1, 2. We are at 2/8. All right, the way that we can see that with our numbers is 6/8 minus 4/8 equals 2/8. And we know that because 6 minus 4 is 2, and we have that like denominator. All right. Well, let's go ahead and come down here to number 3, because number 3 is a little bit different. They want us to write an equation that's going to be shown by our number line here. And just like we had before, it starts at 0 and it goes all the way up to 1. So if I've got that, then I can say, all right, where am I starting? Well, I'm starting right here at 1/5. So write that down with me. So we start with 1/5, and I can see that we're moving to the right and it's getting bigger. So when I'm doing that, if it's getting bigger, that means that I'm going to what? Add or subtract? I'm going to add, right? Yeah, I've got a plus, all right? I'm adding to my total. Well, how much did I add? I went 1, 2 times, all right? So my numerator here will be 2 because that's how many times I moved the green. And it still takes 5 to make the whole. Well, what's kind of cool about this one is they already gave us our answer because we ended there on the green. Where did we end up? 3/5. So I've got 3/5. Okay? This is how we can do these types of problems. 1/5 plus 2/5 is 3/5. All right? Well, let's look at number 4. For number 4, it says that we're starting at 5/6 and then we're going backwards. Well, let's write our equation. So I've got 5/6. And if I'm going to the left, is this plus or minus? Well, it's getting smaller, so that means it's going to be minus. So 5/6 minus, and how many did I jump back? 1, 2, 2/6. Where did we end up? Well, we ended up at 3/6, which makes sense because 5 minus 2 equals 3, and our 6 stays the same. When you work on numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8 on your own, that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to look at where you're starting, figure out if you're adding or subtracting, and then just how many it is. All of these are going to give you your final answer because they're already written on there to where our arrows end up. All right, so that's what you're going to be working on today. All right, we've been working on addition and subtraction of fractions for a while now. Hopefully this is really starting to click with you and you're looking and going, all I have to do is write some equations? Yeah, I can do that because it's not that hard as long as we've been paying attention and building off of each lesson. All right, 4th grade, thanks so much for working with me today. You guys have done an awesome job. I hope these 4 down here really start to make sense with you. We will see you next time. Have a great rest of the day.